Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. In this episode, we're going to take a daylight photo and make it into a night photo. Crazy. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. My name is Serge Ramedy. I am a photographer from the city of Paris, France, but right now living in Los Angeles, California. And I make 1 to 2 tutorials per week. All right, so to give you a few news, well, first, I'm very sad because France lost against Portugal in the Euro, and we went so far. It was really amazing. Plus, I was so happy because for the semi-final, one of the biggest TV channel in Germany bought this photo and they use it on their set. It was so cool. It was very visible. I really liked it, and we brought luck because we did beat Germany, but we lost against Portugal. That's really sad. All right, I'm very excited because the movie that I shot called The Hollywoodans as the lead actor is coming out soon. We're finishing the music and we're trying to put it on big festivals and trying to figure out what is the best way to sell it. We're pretty happy with the result. I hope you will like it. It should be coming out, I guess, in September, October, and I've been working a lot on that. I'm also playing a lot with all these tools, and I bought just this last week a Mamiya 7. It's a medium format film camera, very easy to use. And I'm doing a lot of comparison, going on the field, shooting with the Sony SNR2 and this one. This has a lot less dynamic range than this one, but it's got a film look that I really like. I'm also playing a lot with this little baby, the DJI Phantom 4, doing lots of videos, and it's really, really fun. And also I found this, I like this, it's a little Polaroid camera. I think today we have so many ways to make photography, including iPhone photography or phone photography. It's really amazing. And it's a lot to do with post-processing. I see a lot of people having a lot of success on Instagram with post-processing. And what I'm going to show you today is pretty cool. It was inspired by a friend of mine. And here is a story behind the day-to-night photos. All right, mesdames et messieurs. So welcome to this tutorial. And this one is going to be very exciting. The story started, I was looking for an idea for a tutorial. And my good friend, Jamie Mathlin from Great Britain, sent me this photo. This is a photo we shot together, in the La Pingile, a beautiful area of Montmartre. But I remember that this day, it was a bright day. And so he said, well, that's the before photo. That is the before photo. And that is the after photo. I was like, wow, day to night. I don't know, I just loved it. I really loved it. And I asked him, how did he do it? He sent me his whole workflow. And he did a pretty complex workflow to get this because he did some Photoshop, included a texture and things like this. But this opened my eyes to something that I had seen in movies over the years, and especially in one movie that I really like called OSS 117 with Jean Dujardin, mesdames et messieurs. A really cool movie where they do this day for night. Basically what they do is they shoot during the day and then they change or they use a film that has a very, very cool white balance, and then they make it darker to mimic the night. The reason is that in the early days of cinema, the noise was really bad, when in low light situation, and just the film was not good enough to capture low light. So the night scene, in French we call that the Nuit Américaine, which is called the American night. They were shooting during the day, and then they would change the movie. They would do a process, which I'm going to show you with photography, to make it a night photo. And that's what he did here. And that's the before and that's the after. So I was trying to figure out if it was possible to do it in Lightroom. And yes, it is. But first, let me show you this. This is Jamie R. Mathlin 500px page. Amazing photographer. We met in Paris. And it's funny because he's been following my channel for a long time. And I did a lot of coaching one-on-one with him. And I was really happy that I think that his photos really progressed really well. And a very, very talented fellow, very funny fellow. You got to follow him on 500px. You will find a link under the description of this video. And just as a reminder, because we're going to be using Lightroom, that if you go to my gear page, mesdames et messieurs, you can get 15% off the full Creative Cloud or 20% off just Photoshop or Lightroom. Even if you're already subscribed, you can just take this page and restart it with this and you'll get a better price. Okay, so how can we do this in Lightroom? I tried to figure that. I played around for hours and hours, and I came to a workflow that I kind of liked. So this is my photo that I shot of the Lapin Agile. Similar, same place, beautiful restaurant. If you go to Paris, you got to take that shot. I don't know, it just feels like it's from another time. So, and basically what I do is I start off by my regular workflow, like open up the shadows, bringing down the highlights, and doing the blacks and white. But that's just a starting point. That is just a starting point. What I also do is I lower greatly the exposure. That's one thing. And as they were doing in the movies, I change the white balance. I make it very blue. Okay, already it's starting to look great. But you see, we have a big white sky here. So what I do also is I take a graded filter and I add a minus exposure here. Okay, on a graded filter here, and I also do it here at the bottom. On this one, I think I want to crop the photo a little bit. I think I don't like this this white signs here. Okay, and maybe just go more panoramic into the restaurant itself, something like this. Make it like really panoramic. I think that can be cool. Okay, that's just the starting point. I'm actually going to make it even darker. So like almost 2 f-stop less, 1.3. I mean, I don't know if it's really f-stops, but a value of 1.30 in the exposure. And now we're going to relight it. We're going to relight it using Radial Filter. I think I'm going to do one more gradient here. It's too bright. So I'm going to do one more gradient here just to make it even darker here. So we are going for like, it's basically like a blue hour, which is the beginning of the night. But, that's what they used to be doing. So, and then I'm going to take the radial filter here, and I'm going to start by that lamp. So when you do a radial filter by default, everything that you see here, there is a bit of a plus exposure. Actually, everything that's been applied is being applied around the circle. I want it outside of the circle. I want it inside. So for this, you have to invert the mask and feather. Okay, and then I'm going to boost the exposure. I'm going to turn that light on, maybe add a little bit of yellow, because, it's a bit yellowish. All right. And then, but, the lights grow bigger. So you have to put a very hard light here. Maybe I'm going to put even more with the white. Voila. You can also duplicate it and just make it like twice as strong. So now the light is on, and I'm going to reduplicate it again. And then I'm going to make it bigger this time. I'm going to make it much bigger because light radiates, goes bigger. But on the one that's bigger, I'm going to make it much less strong. I'm going to make a lot less strong. I just want a bit of light glowing, maybe even bigger, light glowing from the lamp. Okay, and you have to find the right value. It's really a try and error process, but something like this is cool. Then I'm going to duplicate this one, and usually when you have lamps in the street, they reflect on the floor. So I'm going to do that. It's like, I did a bit of 3D when I was younger, and it reminds me doing 3D where you place your lights and things like that. It's pretty cool. Okay, now, there is another light here, actually, that was turned on. So we're going to use that. We're going to fake that this light is, affecting this whole area. So maybe a little bit brighter like this. Yeah, something like that. Actually, you can make it even bigger. You can make a big circle like this, that it's going to radiate all this area, make it less strong, and then I'm going to right click and duplicate, take another circle, put it over the lamp itself. It's good to use a lot of Radial Filter. More you use Radial Filter, more it's going to look realistic, and you have to be gentle. Something like this. So I have one here, one big there. I mean, it's going to teach you of using the Radial Filter. Definitely. Okay, now we have another lamp here, so I'm going to right-click, duplicate this one, and I'm going to put this one over this lamp. I'm going to click spacebar, make it just the size of that lamp post. Voila. Okay, I want to make it a little stronger, so I'm going to right-click, duplicate it, so that it's twice more powerful. Okay, that's cool. And now I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to right-click, duplicate, and I'm going to drag and drop it over that lamp here. Okay, and I just think it makes really cool photo. I mean, they look a little fake, but they're cool, and it's all about being cool. I bet you put them on 500px, they do really well. Now here, there's usually a little lamp that's hidden here. There's actually a lamppost right here. I'm gonna fake that there is a lamppost. There's a big lamppost that's cut out of my photo, so I'm gonna fake that it's doing something here, something like this. Okay, and then usually at night you have a lot of city lights. You have a lot of light from the from the building. So I'm gonna duplicate this one. I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna make if that window was turned on. Okay, so I'm going to make it the shape of the window. I'm going to make it very yellow. Okay, and we're going to do some more correction of the color later on, a bit more saturation maybe. All right. Just like if that window, if there was light coming from that house. Okay, and let's duplicate this one and maybe put it here. Like if there was, you know, lights coming from this one. Just make sure that your circle are not too big. They can really mimic light coming from that house. And let's duplicate it. Let's do this one here maybe, or this one. Let's do this one if there was light coming from here. Voila. Actually, you can see there's a little lamp there or something. Okay, that's kind of cool. And it takes a bit of time. I'm not going to spend hours on it. I'm going to show you on more simple photo. I wanted to start off with the more complex photo. Let me see, where can I put some lights here? Well, we can fake that there is a bit of city light over there, you know. The sky of Paris, make it less strong, very light, just a little bit of light, you know, if there was some kind of light from Paris hitting there. Let me zoom out, make it a little bit bigger. Okay, way too yellow for this one. And I'm gonna make it, I just want to, yeah, a little glow of light from over here. And actually I want to add one more light here. Want to fake that there is light coming here. Like if this was led by something, which is not, it's completely a lie. But I like the name here. I like the name. Okay, maybe one more here. Like, okay, we can say that that light is like spilling a little bit over here. You know, and you have to be as close to reality as possible so it doesn't look too fake. But this one is the hardest one. I'm going to show you ones which are more simple, but I kind of like the result. It's you know, it looks kind of cool in some way. Okay, these ones are way too strong. So yeah, I have to look at the photo, you know, way too strong. Just can click on it and make them less stronger. Voila. You know, and maybe add even more magenta. I don't know. Okay, well, one thing that's wrong with the photo is that there is a lack of warmth. It's only cold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the split toning here. Split toning feature, which is here. No, I always look for it. It's unbelievable. Okay, split toning, here it is. Highlights. Highlights, I'm going to put something really warm in the highlights, very saturated. Okay, because you see now all the highlights are becoming even warmer. And now you can play around with the white balance here to make it, to add some warmth a little bit just in the highlights. Okay, now here there's a lack of darkness here, so I can just add one more graded filter, make it even darker, adding even more blue maybe in this part here, something like this. And you know, it's not exactly the night, it's the beginning of the night, you know, it's the blue hour. But voila, that's pretty much, that's my first trial with it, and that one was really hard. I still think that this window here, it looks fake. I'm going to take it out, and I would add a few more windows, but I'm going to show you an easier way to do it, because this photo was really hard, but I wanted to do this one because that was the one Jamie did, and I wanted to do something similar. So let me show you backslash key before. Oh, no, that was actually my first test with it. Before, that was my first step with it. So, sorry, let me go here, and I'm going to reset this one completely. So that's the before, and that's the after. That's the before, and that's the after. I would say that's quite a change. Now, let me show you something cool. Because I'm going to reset this. Okay, here is some presets I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you some presets that are called the American Night preset, because that's what it's called in the movies. And I'm going to show it to you. Here are, sorry, I'm not in the develop module. Here are my presets. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now look at this. One click, American Nighter, boom, it's done. Let me show you the before. Oh, sorry, I have to reset it. I can reset it before. Now look at the before. You see how the before, it was already the beginning of the night, but I shot this too overexposed, and so I had this, you know, this light here and this light there. And basically what you do is, I'm going to give you this preset. You can, so this one is perfect because it was made for that photo. Then there's another one. This one is too dark. And then there's another one. This one is kind of weird. And this one is darker. So this one works really great. And the way the preset works is that all you have to do is change the circles of position. But check this out. I mean, isn't that crazy? You know, I'm resetting it. Boom. Day for night. And this one looks much more realistic. The reason it looks much more realistic, it was truly the beginning of the night, except that it was not yet the night. So some of the lights were on. All I did was put more on phases onto it. Let me show you how you can use a preset. For example, with this photo. I'm taking this photo, and I'm going to click on American Night Lighter. Okay, not bad. American Night, too dark. American Night Basic Circle, too dark. American Night Darker, too dark. Okay, so I'm going to take the same one, American Night Lighter. And all these presets I'm going to give you with some of these profiles so you can play around. So now we have the basic done, but the circles are in the wrong place. So all you have to do is to go to the circles and take, for example, a very bright one, which is here. And I'm going to put this over the lamp. You know, you can rotate the circle by going around them like this. I'm going to go really inside of the lamp and boost the exposure. Boom, the light is on. The light is on. And remember, you need, for each lamp, you need at least 3 lights. One for the main bubble, and then another one for the radiance on the floor. Not too strong, not too strong. Okay, and another one for the radiance at the top. So you can take any circle, just play around with them, and you know. Okay, this one is actually cool. All right, same thing here. We're gonna fake that there is a lamp, very strong lamp, just right here in the corner, outside of the photo. Okay, here is another lamp, so I'm gonna do that. Boom, spacebar to zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in, really turn that light on, and you see it's not in the right position. You can just go over this and then rotate it by dragging the thing. All right. Okay, I'm gonna boost big time the exposure. I'm happy with that. I see that there's 2 more lamps here, so I'm gonna right click duplicate, and I'm gonna leave this one here, because when you right click duplicate, you can do it twice. Maybe it's a bit strong on this one, and then I'm gonna right click duplicate. So all you have to do basically once you use my preset, it's as usual, and as I've always said, preset is just the beginning. It is only the beginning, and then all you have to do is play around with it until you get something that you like. Okay. This is kind of cool. I'm going to duplicate this one, put it here. But remember, every lamp, that's just the bulb of the lamp. Now we have to do the top and the bottom of the radiation of the lamp. So that's the top of this lamp. Make it much smaller. You can just play around with this value here all the time. Okay. Right click duplicate, and you put the same value at the bottom. Okay, maybe a bigger circle. Okay, maybe a little less value. Okay, right click duplicate. Now these 2 lamps are very close to each other, so I'm going to make it even a bigger circle. Oh, and make sure feathering is 100%. It's very important. It's not going to work otherwise. Click duplicate again. So I'm going to put the radiance here on top. Okay, then you zoom out to see, oh look, there is another hidden lamp here. There is a little lamp here. Okay, so I'm going to take this one, right click duplicate. I'm going to put it here. Make it a little bigger, and then right click duplicate. All right, make it smaller just so that it fits just the lamp. It's a bit of work, but I think the effect is really cool. I never tried it, and really Jamie is the one that inspired me on this. And I was like, this is really cool. This is really cool. I'm going to try and post photos like this on Instagram at 500px. And I have the feeling that people is going to like it. Okay, people always like this sort of special effects. All right, so now this circle, I can erase. This one, 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 what is this one? Okay, this one is like the road. Oops. This one I can erase. This one I'm going to erase. Okay. One thing is important, when you work in this mode, it's important to have a show edit pin here on auto. Because if you have it on always, what's going to happen is you're always going to have this little pin, which is kind of cool. But then when you want to change them, it's a bit hard. When you have it on auto, and then you go out of your photo and you go into the menu, the pins disappear, so you can appreciate your photo. You see there's a pin there. It's there by random, but we're going to mimic the moon, if the moon was there, okay? And this one, I don't know what it's doing, so I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to put it over the Sacré-Cœur, because the Sacré-Cœur is actually led by night. It is completely led by night. Okay, so I'm going to make this here. And so it takes a lot of time of working with the circles, you know. But I think it's pretty awesome. Make sure you don't go over, for example, like this, because you're going to make a little hollow, which is not very realistic here. So you don't want some halo, quoi. All right, and then maybe a little bit more strong on this one. Okay, why don't we turn some lights on some of these windows? Duplicate, and I'm going to turn the light on this one. So make sure you make it very small. You know, you make it very small. And again, this one is kind of hard because it was truly like a pure daylight photo. The other one looks more realistic because I did it with a truly beginning of the night photo. So it will always work better. But give it a try. Play around with it. Play around with it on some of your photos, and you might be surprised. It takes a bit of time to do it. I'm not going to spend hours trying to light up every window or every possible source of light, but you get a little bit the idea. Okay, then you take a look at it from far, and you decide. You decide what's going on. Okay, this one, I want to make it bigger. I want to make it a little stronger, that light, because there's really lights happening here. Okay, and voila. Now the white balance is pretty cool. Usually I like magenta, but in this case I don't put magenta. In this case I leave it green because there's a lot of green in the tungsten in the light of the city. Okay, this one is not strong enough, the one from the Sacré-Cœur. It's to be a little bit bigger. Okay, something like this. And then we can make the one from the moon maybe a bit stronger. And if we really had the moon there, this one we can make a little bigger, stronger. Okay, and voila. Let me show you the before. That was my first attempt actually. After, so let me reset. Actually, I'm going to reset it. That's the before. Let me go into history here, and that's the after. Before, after. Pretty cool, no? So I'm going to give you the raw files. If you just to get the raw files and to get a preset, very important, you first have to be logged into my website. You have to go to my website. You have to be logged in. Only when you are logged in, you go back to that video on YouTube, and the link that's below the video will work and will give you the presets and the raw files for that episode. Voila, that's how it works now. Okay. So I hope you like this. It's a really cool trick. Really thank you for Jamie for inspiring me to do this. I really love the result. I'm going to see how people respond to it on Instagram and 500px. A lot of fun, lots of fun. Now, mesdames et messieurs, I know I've showed it in every episode, but I'm going to show it to you again. And the good news is that if you've seen it, you can stop the video right there. You can just press stop on the video. But if you've not seen it, I'm going to show you the best course I ever did, the Landscape Masterclass course. I'm getting tons of very positive reviews from people who have finished the course. I put my entire heart into it. It's, almost 50 videos, 8 hours of course, very much from simple to, it's everything that I know about landscape and cityscape. And here is an 8-minute presentation that you don't have to watch if you don't want to, because there is a stop button on your video. But if you've not seen my best course ever, here it is. All right, so this is my Landscape Masterclass. Now this course is a completely new way for me of teaching. I've been trying to think how I can improve my tutorials so that you can get more out of it. And I get a lot of emails every day, and the main thing that I'm getting is people sending me their photos and saying, oh, can you check them out? I would love to have your viewpoint on it. Well, and there's a few things that keeps on coming back in terms of mistakes, mostly compositions, sometimes too much retouching, or, just different things about, wrong moments of flights of doing photos. And I thought I would really do a course that really takes you, that's the course I would have dreamed on doing when I started. Let me show you what it contains. It's got 48 videos, almost 8 hours of training, and it's in 11 different sections. The section number 1 is called the definition of photography, where we just really look at what the definition of photography, and I give you a lot of examples so that you can see what makes a photo being a nice photo, why it makes a photo being popular or not. That's really what I go into. Of course, it's my viewpoint, it's my taste, but we're getting back to basics from what the definition of photography is. Then I'm going to show you my basic setup on how I use exposure composition in how I take my photos, because taking the right exposure is is really the basics of the basics. So I show you an actual live example in Santa Monica in Los Angeles. Then I really go into different example of what different f-stops you can do and how you can use this for landscape. Whether you have something that's close to you or far away from you, or you want to get a starlight effect, what f-stop you should use in what different situations. Then we start going into different rule of composition, the rule of third. The rule of third, playing with leading lines, and I show you a lot of examples of that, framing the frame, foreground, middle ground, background, really tricks that I find over the years really help me get the right composition when I take my photos, and I give you lots of examples on that. Then we're going to go and we're going to do some live example of composition where I'm actually showing you through my camera a lot of different examples of how I compose my photos, and then we're going to go into retouching them, and then I start really getting into the different types of the lights that we have, how to make a great daylight photo come out with a lot of different examples. Daylight is really the worst moment to take photos, but there are some things you can do like black and white to really get some really cool daylight photos. Then we're going to do daylight special effects, because daylight is often boring, so sometimes special effect is going to help them make them pop. You got a great subject but it was shot in daylight. Well, I'll show you how you can do special effects to make that thing really pop, that photo really have a nice light despite the light was not that good. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of presets that comes for free with the course, and that's going to help you with your daylight photos. Then we go into shooting right into the sun. Golden hour. How do you shoot golden hour? How do you set your camera for golden hour? How do you retouch golden hour? I'm going to show you an amazing app. I did a full tutorial on photo pills. It's a great app which you can use to find when is the sun going to be where exactly. If you want to plan a photo and you want to get the sun between two buildings or above a specific bridge, well, you can use this app to find out which time of the year that's going to be. Super useful app, amazing app, photo pills. Then we get into the sunset. How do we use our camera to capture the sunset properly? How to get a right exposure and how to retouch sunsets. I'm going to give you a lot of examples. Blue hour can be amazing. Same thing, I'm going to give you live example of blue hours photos, how I frame them, how I retouch them. Different things, how to get a very natural look on the blue hour. Then I'll show you a really cool app called Salt that I use every day to find when is the right time to shoot photos. Then we're going to go into HDR, and this course has a lot of HDR. I've completely updated my HDR workflow, and I'm going to show you how you can use HDR FX Pro, which is free, to get some really cool HDR. I'm going to show you how to set up your camera. I'm going to show you how to use HDR FX Pro on 3 different projects. Then I'm going to show you how to use Aura HDR on 4 different projects, which I think is the best HDR software out there. And then all the photos we did in HDR, I'm going to take them back in Lightroom and make them a natural version of it, so I can compare the HDR version with the natural version. Then we're going to go into one of the most powerful technique there is for landscape for a natural result is digital blending, and how to blend different exposures to get the photo you really want to have. Give you 2 examples on this. Then I'm going to do a lot of live examples of shooting for long exposure using ND filters in New Zealand, in Paris, and in Venice. How I've been using this to get some cool long exposure effects and how to retouch them. We're going to go into super long exposure, 5 to 8 minutes exposure. How do you do long exposure when you don't have a filter? How to properly shoot a panorama, how to hold your camera to make a great panorama. And then we're going to go into different types of retouching of panoramas, including some of my most favorite panorama ever. Then I'm going to show you a whole workflow on how to do astrophotography. How and where to find the Milky Way, exactly. How to do your camera settings. And then we're going to do different astrophotography projects together, shooting the Milky Way. All this, of course, comes as usual with source files. But the big new thing about this course is that I have a checklist. What the checklist is going to give you is 2 things. It's going to give you a sequence of study. How do you go from easier to more complex projects? but also it's going to give you assignments. I'm going to ask you to go, okay, now you learn about lone exposure. Go do a 5-second lone exposure, a 20-second, a 30-second using an ND filter, a variable ND filter, a fixed ND filter. And then I'm going to ask you to post your photos on Instagram with a specific hashtag so that I can see your progress and how you're applying the videos and how you're learning. But also so that you can look for these hashtags and see how everybody else is doing, and doing their lone exposure and doing the SDR. So you can check for the hashtags and see what other students are doing. Also, and that's not out yet, but next month I will be taking under my wing 20 to 25 photographers using this course on a special one-to-one project where I will ask you to send me the photos you've been taking as part of this course, and I will coach you on them, tell you if you made it or not, and at the end you can graduate from it. For now, this will be limited to 20 to 25 photographers, and I'm going to talk about this next month. If you're interested, you can always send me an email on my website, and there is already a waiting list for that because it's only limited to 20 to 25 photographers on the planet for now, where I really want to coach you through this course. And at the end, you're going to get an actual diploma where you graduated from the Landscape Masterclass. And once you graduate from the Landscape Masterclass, you can come to a special Facebook group where I will be doing career coaching every week with a different photographer. And you can see how I coach them because I will be recording the videos. But this will be only for the people who graduated this course. So stay tuned for that. That's not out yet, but the course is out. You can purchase it and you can start getting into it. And, I really think I did the best course I ever did because I give really a lot of examples from shooting to retouching on gradients, from easy project to harder and harder and harder. This is all I know, guys. This is all I've learned in 12 years. My work is in 85 galleries around the world. I've done 2 fine arts books. I'm doing a 3rd one now. There are pretty bestsellers around the planet. And I'm not saying this to show off. I'm just saying this. I've had a success with this. I've seen over the years things that work and things that don't. Well, I'm going to share you all my secrets, all the things that works. I'm really excited about this course. If there's only one course you ever want to buy from me, it's this one, the Landscape Masterclass. All right, guys, see you in one of my training videos.